Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you these 3 quick and easy crafts that you can do for Mother's Day or just for fun. So because I'm also a dog mom, I wanted to include my fur baby in this keychain craft, so you're going to need some shrinking paper that I'll link below and some ink or paint. And when trying to do a craft like this with a pet, sometimes they get a little nervous, so I'm just giving her some love and letting her sniff the paper just so she can get a little bit more comfortable. And right now she probably thinks that I'm trying to clip her nails. So this ink that I'm using is Pet Safe ink, but I've had it for a long time and it's kind of dried out, so the print wasn't coming out as dark as I wanted it to, so I went ahead and I did it again, but I would just say probably use fresh ink. And then to plan ahead for messes, I had next to me a bowl of soapy water and a rag, that way I could just wipe her paw off as soon as we were done so there's no messes. And of course, I had to give her a treat because she was such a good girl. Now I'm just going to do that same keychain craft, but with my daughter's handprint this time. And instead of using the ink, I'm going to do paint. And just as a little tip, if you're doing this with a little kid or a baby, I find that putting them in a high chair makes it so much easier to control the mess. And just like with my dog, I have a bucket of water and a rag ready to go. That way I can get her cleaned up right away so there's no paint on anything. And now I'm just cutting out my dog's paw print. You can cut this however you want. You can make it a perfect circle or oval. My only tip is that you need to leave a little space at the top. That way you can put a hole right there. And now I'm just doing the same thing with my daughter's handprint. And again, you can cut it however you want. Just make sure that you leave some space at the top so you can put a hole if you want this to be a keychain. Okay, now this is the funnest part about these things. When you put them in the oven, they are going to shrivel up like crazy, and it gets kind of scary because you don't want them to get ruined, but you just have to wait it out and watch them, and they're going to curl up. They might even flip on themselves. That's okay. Just watch it until it's completely flat, and then that's when you know they're ready to take out. This only takes like 2 minutes, by the way, and they shrink about 1/5 of the size that they originally were. And now to protect them, I'm going to put Mod Podge on the side that the paint or the ink was on, just because that is still real exposed paint and I want to protect it and not have it chip off. Okay, for this next craft, I'm gonna have my daughter make a bookmark. So this is just some watercolor paper that I cut and I'm taping the side so I can have a little border. And then I'm just letting my daughter paint it however she wants. I'm using watercolor paint here, and she is only 1 year old, so she was having a little bit of trouble. So I went ahead and I wet the paper, and that just makes it a lot easier for her to get the paint onto the paper. This part is totally optional too. This is just going to be the background of the bookmark, and she was having a lot of fun painting it, but you can also do crayons or just have it be a white background, and then we're going to put some little fingerprints on it to make a fingerprint flower. And then after she's done painting it and I let it completely dry, I'm ready to take it off, and this is when we go back to the high chair because I'm going to use wet paint again, and it's all about mess control. So I'm starting by painting her thumb yellow, and this is going to be the middle of the flower, so I just put it where I want that to be. And then really quickly I wipe off her thumb, and then I'm just using a different color to make all of the petals on the flower, and you can see I'm just putting more paint on it and then putting her thumb down, putting more paint, putting her thumb down. And then with a little bit of green, I just make 2 thumbprints right there for the flower leaves, and then we're done with that. And then to complete the flower, I go ahead and add a little bit of green paint for the stem, and then I put a little bit of grass for the flower to grow out of. As you can see, my border came out a little bit messy, so here I'm just taking some white paint and cleaning up those little messy parts. And then to seal it off and protect it, I'm going to spray some varnish on it. Okay, for this last craft, I'm doing some footprints to make a butterfly. So I'm putting a towel there just to, again, control the mess. This part doesn't have to be perfect, and you can just use 2 colors too because they'll blend into each other anyways. Or you can just use 1 color. It really doesn't matter. You do it however you want to do it. But here I'm just blending the paint. And I know you can't really see this part, but I'm just pushing her foot there, cleaning it off, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other foot. Now here's where I kind of messed up. I should have walked to the other side, but I couldn't really see where I was putting her foot, and I put them too close together, but I was just working with it. And now for the last of the paint, I am painting her hand, and it's going to be a little flower right there in the corner next to the butterfly. And now we're all done with the paint. Woohoo! And if you don't want to use paint, you can trace your kid's hand and then cut out their handprint or footprint and do these things also. And then this is just my husband being a goofball, blowing bubbles for our daughter. Okay, now technically I put her footprints too close together. They should not be touching, but I didn't want to redo it, so I'm just using what I have and I'm making the butterfly. And then on the handprint, I'm just going to add a stem and a couple leaves to make it look more like a flower, and you can add some grass too, but I just didn't really have space for it. But there you have it, 3 crafts for Mother's Day. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.